Friends, here in our rural banking, we are having 4 modules: Module A, Module B, Module C, and Module D. Each module was named separately. Module A was named as Rural India. In this module, we are having 7 units. Units means chapters, 7 chapters or 7 topics. Module B, it is named as Financing Rural Development. In this, we are having 6 units. Module C, that is Priority Sector Financing and Government Initiatives. In this module, we are having 4 units. And the last one is Module D. Here, the name of the module is Problems and Prospects in Rural Banking. In this module, we are having only 2 units. So total comes to 19 units. So for this paper, the classes were arranged only on holidays. So if today's class is over, again we are having class on 10th and 11th. 10th is Saturday, second Saturday, and 11th is Sunday. Okay, friends. So now we have to, if you go to module A, in this, as I told you, we are having 7 units. Unit number 1, demographic features. Second unit, characteristics of rural society. Unit 3, economic features. Unit 4, infrastructure. Unit 5, agriculture economy. Unit 6, rural development policies. Unit 7, issues concerning rural areas. So these are the 7 units in our module A. Friends, our first and foremost unit is demographic features. Demographic features. So what is demographic and all these things I will explain you. Actually, in this rural banking, we will have statistical information. So we have to remember the statistical information. Further, we didn't find the latest information. Why? Because our census was done only in the year 2011. Again, this census work was to attend in the year 2021. So 2021 is the year of COVID. So it was not taken place. Even now also that census work is pending. So all the figures relate to, with regard to census, we have to take into account as per the census of 2011. So very old figures, because 13 years back. Okay, friends. Now, demographic features. So this is the first chapter for us, first unit for us. So friends, what is the meaning of demographic? Demographic is nothing but characteristics of human population. Characteristics of human population. In this unit, we have to cover several items which relate to our human population. Friends, all of us are aware that the census was taken place in the year 2001 also. Again, after 10 years means 2011. So in 2011 also, this census work was done by the government. So the population of India was counted as 1028 million as per census of 2001. So out of this 1028, we are having 532 million males and 496 million females. Friends, please remember such statistical information for your examination. So the India is the second populous country on earth. So the first populous country is China, and India is the second most populous country on the earth. India accounts for more than 17% of the world's population, and our country's population is the growth of our country's population is equivalent to Australia's population. Almost our country's yearly population increases is equivalent to the population of Australia. So next one is Uttar Pradesh continues to be the most populous state in India. Sometimes in examinations they may ask which state is most populous in India. So as per latest census, that is 2011 census, Uttar Pradesh, followed by Maharashtra and Bihar. They are having more than 100 million population. So Uttar Pradesh is having 200 million population. Million means 10 lakhs. So 10 lakhs into 200. So Uttar Pradesh is the most populous state in India, followed by Maharashtra and Bihar. They are having more than 100 million population. Further, with regard to growth of population, when we compare it with other countries' population, as per United Nations estimates, world population grew at an annual rate of 1.23% during 2000 and 2010, whereas India has registered the growth rate of 1.30%, friends. So it is more than the global rate of growth. India has recorded 1.30, whereas world population growth rate is only 1.23. So we have to remember all this statistical information, friends. Next one is, in the developed countries, how if we have for this pyramid presentation, in the developed countries, the pyramid will be like a cylindrical shape. You see, progressive, that will be called as progressive pyramid. Progressive pyramid means that is a pyramid presentation which relates to developed country. So progressive pyramid, that relates to developed countries. You see this left hand side, this is like a cylindrical shape. Whereas in developing countries, it would be like a pyramid. So in our developing countries, in the pyramid presentation, it will be named as Youthful Population Pyramid. Kindly remember these two words. In developed countries, it is cylindrical shape. So it will be called as progressive pyramid. Whereas in developing countries, it is like a pyramid. So it is called as Youthful Population Pyramid. Let us see what is there in our PPT. So population pyramids represent complex changes in age structure of the population. In developed countries, the shape is almost cylindrical instead of pyramid because of the high life expectancy, friends, high life expectancy, low fertility, and relatively low population in reproductive age group. So in the reproductive age group, their population is very less. Their population is old people. So low fertility is also one of the reasons for it. Please remember these 3 points. So cylindrical shaped pyramids are called as regressive pyramids. These are characteristics advanced economies where there are proportionately fewer children and more old people. So there will be fewer young people or children and more old people will be there. So with regard to developing countries, population of most of the developing countries, including India, consists of large proportion of children. We are having large proportion of children and persons in reproductive age group. So we are having sufficient number of children and young people. Young people means reproductive age group. So we are having children and reproductive age group. So the pyramid in developing countries, in pyramid presentation, it is called as Youthful Population Pyramid. Please remember all these points, friends. Next one is sex ratio, female and male. Sex ratio as per the 2011 census is 943. So 943 is to 1000. So much lower sex ratio of about 919 in case of 0 to 6 age group, as revealed by census, shows preferences of male child is still prevalent in large part of the society. Lowest sex ratio was noticed in Haryana. It is 877. Such type of questions will be asked in the examination. The lowest sex ratio is prevailing in which state? So he will give you 4 states. Haryana is the lowest sex ratio. It is 877. For every 1000 boys, there will be only 877 girls. Among the union territories, UTs means union territories, the lowest sex ratio has been recorded in Daman Diu, that is 618 only. For every 1000 males, we are having only 618 females. So please remember these states as well as union territories. This 877 and 618 also kindly try to remember. With regard to demographic transition model was initially proposed in the year 1929 by demographer Warren Thompson. Actually, this model was having 4 stages. That is pre-industrial, urbanization, urbanizing and industrializing, mature industrial, and post-industrial. So like that, as divided the demographic transition model into 4 stages. That is, one is pre-industrial. Next one is urbanizing and industrializing. Third one is mature industrial. Fourth one is post-industrial. India is under mature industrial. India is in mature industrial. India is in the stage of mature industrial. So India, you see here, India currently is in the stage of 3 of the demographic transition. 3 means first one is pre-industrial, next one is urbanizing and industrializing, third one is mature industrial. So please remember this point also. Sometimes they may ask a question in this area. Next one is literacy. They have not confined only to the population, friends, in this unit. They have covered several items. So next one is literacy. What is literacy, friends? What is literacy? It's a common question. Several times in our CAIIB examination, it was asked. What is literacy? Literacy is the ability to read, write, and comprehend. Comprehend means grasping information. Please try to remember the words as these. So several times they asked, what is letter C? Letter C means letter C means ability to read, write, and comprehend. Comprehend means grasping. Sometimes we will say that read, write, and speak. Speaking is not there in the letter C, friends. Comprehend. Comprehend means grasping, understanding. So in order to communicate effectively. So letter C is the ability to read, ability to write, and ability to comprehend information in order to communicate effectively. So that is the letter C. Please remember this sentence as it is. Next, in India, when the adult literacy rate is measured for people aged above 15 years. So adult means the person who crosses 15 years. So it comes under adult literacy. So rate of youth literacy is measured for people aged between 15 to 24. So it is adult literacy 15 years, and if you ask for youth literacy, it will be measured for the people aged between 15 to 24 years. Literacy rate is calculated by dividing the number of literates of given age range by the corresponding age group population and multiply the result by 100. So normally we know how to calculate these percentages and all these things. So literacy rate is calculated by dividing the number of literates. So in that particular age group, say for example, if they ask for the youth literacy rate, so we will take how many people under the age 15 to 24 are literate people. We will take that figure divided by corresponding age group population. So under that particular bracket 15 to 24, what is the population of our country? So the literate persons divided by total population into 100. So by using such a formula, they will come to know the percentage of this adult literacy or youth literacy, whatever they want, they will follow such type of formulas. So next one is very important, friends. India managed to achieve the literacy rate of 74.04% in 2011 as compared to 64.8% in 2001. Kindly remember this point. So literacy rate 74.04% in 2011. Earlier, that is as per census 2001, it was 64.80 only. Next point also very important. While the female literacy rate in India as per census 2001, 53.7%, now it has gone up to 65.5% in 2011. Please remember this information. Several times they asked in our CAIIB examination. So literacy rate 74.04, that is as per census 2011. As per 2001 census, it was 64.80. Female literacy rate now means in 2011, as per 2011 census, it is 65.5, whereas as per census 2001, it was 50.7%. Next one is, all of us are aware that our constitution recognizes the importance of the education, and it was mentioned in the constitution that education for all. So therefore, it lays down several provisions to ensure proper and effective implementation of educational rights in the country. So since it was written in the constitution saying that education for all, so the government has to take every step to educate all the people. So they have followed several practices for this. So first one is education for weaker sections. So Article 15, 17, 46 of the Indian Constitution safeguards the educational interests of the weaker sections of the society. Constitution itself is safeguarding the education of weaker sections. So under Articles 15, 17 and 46. Further, socially, economically and educationally backward families, including those belonging to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, it was also taken care by the Constitution. So the following measures have been taken by the government to improve literacy standards. So friends, here government is providing various scholarships. They are providing school uniforms, textbooks, stationery, etc. in order to encourage the students and adults to take up studying. So in order to improve the literacy rate, government is providing scholarships, provides school uniforms, textbooks, stationery, etc., shoes, etc. Further, they have introduced the midday meal scheme. All of us are aware. It was this midday meal scheme was launched in the year 1995 by the government to provide free food to improve the attendance in the government schools especially. Next one is Samagra Shiksha Program. It was launched by the government. School effectiveness, to know the school effectiveness, friends, kindly remember this Samagra Shiksha Program is intended for school effectiveness. Friends, kindly remember this sentence, school effectiveness, that word, please kindly remember. So next one is, this will be measured in terms of equal opportunities for schooling and equitable learning outcomes. So the government intends to measure in terms of equal opportunities for schooling and equitable learning outcomes. Next one is awareness programs were launched in rural areas to create perception among people about the importance of education. They were encouraged to attend and send their children to schools. So government is also conducting awareness programs. So that is with regard to our literacy. And next one is sixth economic census. This sixth economic census was conducted by Government of India. This is Central Statistic Office. It is an instrumental in creation of database for various sectors of the economy and its periodic updation. But this sixth economic, now presently we are making use the data of sixth economic census. This census was also covered only 1 year, that is January 2013 to April 2014. So with regard to seventh economic census, it was not approved by the Government of India so far. So the information which was approved under this economic census is available only with regard to sixth economic census. So this sixth economic census covered only January 2013 to April 2014. So this census is in respect of all states and union territories of the country. So as per the results of the sixth economic census, there are 58.50 million establishments in the country engaged in different economic activities. So how many establishments are there as per sixth economic census in India? So we are having 58.5 million establishments. So out of which in rural areas we are having 59.48 establishments and 23.7 million establishments in the urban area. So here 59.48% of establishments are there in rural areas and 40.52% establishments are there in the urban areas. So this information relates to 2013 and 14. So 5 states, namely Uttar Pradesh, followed by Maharashtra, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. All these 5 states have accounted for about 50% of the total establishments in the country. One is Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, 5 states. So percentages were also given in the brackets. Uttar Pradesh 11.43, Maharashtra 10.49, West Bengal 10.10, Tamil Nadu 8.60 and Andhra Pradesh 7.25. So 50% of the establishments are there in all these 5 states. The rest of the 50% establishments are there in the rest of the states or union territories. So among these establishments again, 45.37 million were engaged in non-agricultural activities and 13.13 million were engaged in the agricultural activities other than crop production and plantations. So in these establishments, this crop production and plantations were not covered. So other than crop production and plantations, we are having establishments under agricultural activities only 22.45%, that is 13.13 million. Whereas for non-agricultural activities, we are having 45.37 million establishments. It accounts for 77.55%. Friends, next one is 89% of the establishments are owned by proprietors, out of which 15.4 were owned by females. So out of total establishments of 34.80 million establishments, 89% is of the those establishments are owned by proprietors. So out of this 89%, 15.4% is of the female owned establishments. Okay, friends, this point also very important. This male and female rates, very important. Next one is employment. About 131.29 million persons, 67.89 million, 51.7% in terms of in rural areas and 63.40 million in urban areas were reported to be employed in establishments as per the census. Friends, how many persons were employed in the establishment? 131.29 million persons. So 67.89 million in rural areas. Why? Because we are having more establishments in the rural areas and lesser establishments in the urban areas. So 67.89 were accommodated from rural areas and 63.40 were accommodated in the urban area establishments. So again 5 states, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Gujarat. These 5 states have covered 50% of the employment. So these states have got the employment up to 50%. So 131 out of 131.29, their share is 50%. So the remaining persons are from other states and union territories. So about 108.41 million workers constituting 82.57 of total employment worked in non-agricultural establishments. Again, agriculture and non-agriculture. So we are having non-agricultural establishments are more, agricultural establishments are less. So more people were accommodated in the non-agriculture sector, 82.57%, and with regard to agricultural sector, 22.88 million persons were accommodated. Next one is The share of females, again friends, the share of females in total population of 131.29 million was 33.04 million. So which is around 25.17%. So 61.90% of the female employment was in rural areas. Again, 61.90% are there were accommodated in rural areas from the female domain. Okay, friends. So that is with regard to employment. Next one is agriculture census. Sala very, very important, friends. This information is very, very important, vital information. Definitely, we will have questions from agriculture census. Friends, here the total number of operational holdings in the country has increased from 138.35 million in 2010-11 to 146.45 million in 2015-16, showing an increase of 5.86%. Operational holdings. Operational holdings means the agricultural lands. Agricultural lands have increased from 138.35 million to 146.45 million. Friends, here we have to remember this criteria. Definitely in examination, certainly they will ask at least one question from this table. So marginal holdings, operated area below 1 hectare. Hectare means 2.5 acres. So marginal holding means below 1 hectare. Small holding means 1 lakh to below 2 hectares. Next to semi-medium holdings, 2 hectares to below 4 hectares. Medium holdings, 4 hectares to below 10 hectares. If it is 10 hectares and above, it will be called as large holdings. So we are having 5 types of holdings here. One is marginal holding. Second one is small holding. Third one is semi-medium holding. Fourth one is medium holding. Fifth one is large holding. So operated area, this below 1 hectare, 1 hectare to below 2 hectares. Kindly remember this operated area also. So here, the highest percentage share in 2015-16 was observed in marginal category, 68.5%, followed by small, 17.6%. And semi-medium, 9.6%, medium, 3.8%, and large category, 0.6%. So here, we are having 146.45 land holdings. Out of this, marginal holdings is accounted for 68.5%, and small holdings accounted for 17.6%. Semi-medium holdings account for 9.6%, and medium holdings account for 3.8%, and large category it accounts for 0.6%. So the total operated area in the country has decreased from 159.59 million hectares in 2010-11 to 157.82 million hectares in 2015-16, showing a decrease of 1.11%. Next one is the average size of operational holdings has declined to 1.08 hectares in 2015-16 as compared to 1.15 in 2010-11. Please remember these two statistics also.